And so yeah, this is just to sort of wrap up everything that we've been talking about, and a quick review and reminder of what we've done, and sort of a preparation for what we're going to go into. So it's sort of a cycle that the circle never ends. um, anyway, um, as we're doing this, I kind of wanted to go over some questions that we have. You know, where did we come from? What have we learned? How do I apply the things that we've learned, and where do we go to next? So first, where do we come from? Basically, everybody who joined the program is they're hungry for more. You know, I think Patty put it really well one time when she was talking that, you know, she's hungry. She wants to be better at what she does. She wants to learn more about how this stuff works. She wants to be better at how she does it. Everybody comes, you're all very competent. You got some experience, either in other fields, but I mean, you're not coming here totally out of the blue, and everybody's eager to learn, and that's what makes it more fun, more interesting, and helpful for everybody, because we're all learning new things. So, what are the things that we learned? First, we went over code comprehension. How do we read code? There's some techniques for doing that, and some habits we need to get into. We of course learned TDD. We spent That's probably where we spent the lion's share of our time, making sure that we understand how that really works. As TDD is something that it's really hard to get from a book. You know, I have a book called "You Can't Learn to Ride a Bicycle by Going to a Seminar." You know, so similar with TDD, it's not one of those things that you can just sort of, well, I guess you can, but you really need somebody to show you the ropes. And finally, the unit testing, and how that's different from TDD, but also how it's still a very necessary skill. Um, and then we went over code smells, how they, you know, when we're starting to refactor, you have to be able to recognize bad code so that you can make it better. And then you have to know what the better looks like. And so there are various techniques and recipes that we follow to make the the refactoring work properly. And then the point of design patterns, you know, the whole point of it is that when you're refactoring, you want to follow a particular pattern, or target a particular pattern that you know is going to work better. It's like, I'm trying to do this. There's a design pattern that actually makes doing this easier, and I'm halfway there. But if I follow the full pattern, it'll make it all work, and then refactor towards that. That gives us a target to go for. And then we started looking at the leadership aspect, and using learning how to solve problems. And we've got all the fundamentals, so then we need to solve problems for our employer, for our clients. And to do that, we have to follow the proper architecture. We have to know what architectures are available to us, and what the trade-offs are of choosing each architecture. And so that's how we really end up solving problems, instead of just going in there and cleaning up little messes. That's not necessarily what they need us to do. They need us to solve a problem. And then, of course, we learned how to master communications by listening, by, you know, by following the principles of just trying to understand where somebody else is coming from, and then try to make our where we're coming from more clear. And then finally, you know, personal development. How can we grow personally in our own lives, and become better people? We can become leaders first by leading ourselves, and then by leading others. There's I don't have it in front of me, but there's a quote on, I think it's Westminster Abbey. Uh, this guy says that, when I was young, I wanted to change the world, and so I went about trying to do that, and I found out the world wouldn't change. So I decided instead I would just change my community, and found out they weren't interested in changing either. So I decided, okay, fine, I'll just focus on changing my family, and found that they pretty much chafed at that idea too. So now that I'm old, I realized that if I had decided to first change myself, then I would have been in a position where my family would have wanted to change too. And then by changing my family, we could have then made a positive change in the community, and thereby possibly even change the world. And so I'm a big advocate of that idea, and that's how you develop true leadership. So all that and all that said, how do we apply this knowledge? Well, um, you you can apply it in your current work, um, by you've learned some new techniques and some new habits and some new skills, and you can now, even if you're not the boss of the team, you can sort of help raise the bar of everybody by helping everybody else to learn. You can sort of become an internal consultant for your company. You can just start asking higher quality questions so that you can make sure that the quality of the work that's getting done is better. And by having this extra knowledge and having other resources to tap to learn more, you're going to be able to just, the raising the water raises all ships. So by just raising the level of the quality of the work you do, you're going to inspire the people you work with to do better work. If you're going on an interview, there's one guy who I was talking to. The fact that he knew how to do TDD, it really impressed the people that he was interviewing with, because they didn't see him as an entry level developer. They saw him as more skilled and more experienced because he understood how to really do TDD, how to really do refactoring. He understood design patterns, and so this makes you more valuable in the eyes of the people you're interviewing with. And also, as you're starting to determine what your next role is, either within the same company, in another company, in a different project, maybe you're going to be doing consulting, you'll be able to take this knowledge and be more effective in your next role, and it'll help you to develop your career and have a clearer vision for where you want to go in the future. Because you have the tools available now, and that means a lot. So so now I come to, okay, so where do we go to next? And to get there, I want to tell you a little bit about where I came from. So I'd say about 20 years ago. Well, okay, so for most of my career, I've worked on projects that were needed a tremendous amount of refactoring. It was spaghetti code everywhere. And I worked on two projects that we basically got to define effectively from scratch. And the first one, I was just one player on a very large team, and we were using the Microsoft Foundation classes and Visual Studio, and all of this technology was new, and we were diving into it because the boss he had gone to a Microsoft conference and said, we need to use this new Microsoft technology, and that's what we're going to do. And we were quickly out of our depth, and we got it to work, but it was a mess. And then I moved on to another job later, and we were basically defining something new from scratch. And I was one of the senior people, and we got to determine what language. We spent an entire summer defining how the database needed to look, and we put everything together. And we were going to make sure that it came together nicely. It was a small team. We were all very eager to do things the right way. We were learning new techniques and that sort of thing. And it ended up being, after a year's worth of work, almost unmaintainable. And I thought, I'm just bad at what I do. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not skilled at this. I'm not making the world a better place. So I decided I would find another career because I'm not doing this well. I read these books by people who are doing amazing work, and I'm not one of them. And I've been doing this for freaking 20 years. You'd think I'd have figured out by now. And and I was really at a low point. Um, and Frank, I didn't know what to do. I remember that I had a consulting gig that I was brought in to help them rework some stuff, and it was a Java project, and every class was at the root. There was no class structure. There was no directory structure. Everything was at the root, and it was really hard to do anything. So I said, okay, what I need to do, I need to start dividing these up into different sub projects and that sort of thing. And I spent a couple of weeks doing that. And I said, they're not paying me to go and restructure their code. They're paying me to get this new functionality added. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go and try and add the new functionality. And I spent the next 3 months trying to add the functionality. Or if I had just spent another 3 or 4 weeks restructuring the code, it would have taken me probably a couple of weeks to add the new functionality. And I didn't know that. And I was just I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I was really sorry I did that. And then I heard a presentation by this guy who who started an organization called Legacy Code Rocks, and he said, uh, actually his wife was doing the discussion. She said she was talking to her husband, and they were watching This Old House, and he said, that's what I want to do. She said, oh, you want to get out of programming and build houses? He said, no. The thing is that we've got all these projects where they have the code is messed up, and people just want to throw the whole thing away and rebuild it from scratch. And if you just, it's like This Old House is hard to live in. If we just rework the kitchen, then it's like a whole new house, and it's just easier to live in. If we just change the living space around and add a wall here and take a wall out there, then it's just easier to live in, and it's a whole new house for them. And most code bases are the same way. If you just change up some of the code that's really hard to work in, the rest of the system is fine. And I want to help people to do that. And I've learned that there's a whole community that does this, and there are tools that make it easy. And there's the library of books that make it easier for you to do that. That is what I want to do too. That's me. I like looking at old crufty code and cleaning it up. I just don't know how. And so I started to learn this stuff. And I said, well, but I don't know I don't know where to go next. I mean, I would listen to their podcasts and read their newsletters and stuff and learn about these tools, but I didn't know what to do with it next. And then I met this guy. You may recognize him. It's Bruno. And he came to speak at a Java user group meeting here in Houston. And he was saying, I can help you take your career to the next level. I was like, dude, I am ready. I now have I have the game plan of what I want to do with my career. I know what I've been doing wrong. I know how I can correct it, but I don't know where to go next. And he said, dude, have I got a plan for you? And so I worked with Bruno for some time, and he helped me create this program called Keep Calm and Refactor. And and that's sort of through that I've learned the techniques that I need to know by working with the Legacy Code Rocks group and being among my people. And then Bruno helped me to put it together into a clear plan for moving forward and making a difference. And so he's helped me to speak at the Java One conferences. That was, there's no way I would have even considered that before I met Bruno. But he got me to do that. And so now I'm speaking on the No Fluff Just Stuff tour. I don't know if you know anything about No Fluff Just Stuff, but the guys who are speaking there are the luminaries of the industry. They're, I've got books that they've written behind me. Neil Ford, who is like an architecture genius. Who's the guy who wrote The Pragmatic Programmer? That's like, these are the people who are speaking at this conference. And I'm Chris Wall, who is like the guru for Spring and Spring Boot. These are the people I'm on stage with, and they see me as a peer. And so this is like beyond my wildest dreams, and that's all thanks to Bruno helping me get this started. So basically, what he has is called the Celebrity Developer Blueprint. I think y'all know about it, and that's really what he and I have talked about this a few times. Is like the program that I have is really an introduction to it's sort of the 101 to his 303, if you will. It feeds naturally into what he does, and so while I encourage you to stick around, and we can go through this some more, and I'll always be there. I'm always here for you, no matter what. If you're going to be moving on to a new program, or if you're looking for where you're wanting to go to next, Bruno's program is it's completely changed my life, and it's helped me to go to places where I never knew I could go. And so that's kind of where we're at. I know it's kind of short. I kind of wanted to just quickly go over and review what we've done and where we can go with it. And I kind of wanted to get your insights and again invite you to continue on, but also look into Bruno's program. So all that being said, I think that's pretty much that's what that's where we're at. So I'll stop sharing the screen and we can chat. So so Patty has the Pragmatic Program. That's good.
Yes, it's an amazing book. I really like it. And I just feel I have to read a ton of books. But yeah, that's one of the on the first one when I changed careers, that's one of the first books. Yeah, that I bought. Yeah, I have a commentary. Scott, in this program with you, I have learned technical stuff to improve my career, and lately I have feel that I want to tell you about my experience. I came from a background of the IT world. I was a sysadmin for many years, but I was very used to working solo. I kind of learned to do research to find the solution, and then came to the solutions, because also in my previous job, I used to be the one that knew more about stuff. So I didn't have really a mentor or someone who lead me in the technical way. So I used to work very alone, but I also didn't have like the premise of delivering on a certain time. I even, as you can say, as you did say, I used to take my time to deliver the solutions. But in my new job, it's totally different. I need to deliver faster. I need to, and also I really had a learn a hard lesson the last couple of weeks, because I had a ticket that it was with me like for 2 weeks, and it was only meant to be with me like 2 days. It took too much time. So my boss is the technical lead of my team talked to me, and he told me, why are you taking so long time? He thought he thought I was lurking around or something, but I told him the truth. I'm so sorry. I am not as skilled as I thought I was. I need to improve my technical knowledge, but the time that I'm taking to learn to do this thing versus the time I need to deliver things is not good. I'm falling behind, and I feel sorry about that. But I tried to do my best, but I think he was a little upset, but he didn't he told me, you need to come up if you take more than 2 hours in something you just don't understand, you have to put it in the chat, in the work chat, and someone will help you.
Yeah.
But I had to change my way of thinking, because I was hired as a senior solver. I don't know why, maybe because of my age. But I was thinking, I need to know the solution. Like in my past job, I need to do research, I need to come to the solution, but it was taking me too long. So I had to drop that way of thinking. And now I'm the one that is asking a lot of questions in the chat, even the dumb questions. So I was reading somewhere that it could be a superpower if you, someone wrote that it could be a superpower to not be afraid to ask dumb questions, because for example, I need to speak how I'm thinking, because I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm a 44-year-old engineer. I need to have all the solutions. How am I going to ask these dumb questions? No, I need to drop that. I need to start asking the even the tennis questions. And I have had asked some questions that I was like, oh my God, it was so basic. Yes, no, but I need to relearn how to learn in this year, because I need to. It's like Bruno says in his program, no one cares about you. I have to put aside my feelings and my embarrassment. You have to move faster and deliver, and it has been difficult for me, because I maybe have so many expectations about myself, and maybe I'm very demanding to myself as well. But it has helped me a lot, because I have improved my time to deliver the things that they have asked me. And I feel like I was asking everyone, even in my community, with Bruno also post that I needed help with some code, but I have to do that in my own group, in my own work group. They were the ones I have to ask. So as you said, it's like you also have helped me a lot, because here in this community with you, we see the technical stuff. And let me tell you, I have learned more of my mistakes than doing some tutorial or something. I don't know why that is happening, but when you make a huge mistake, or even it's like, oh my God, yes, it's like that. And it's like I don't know, I learned a lot of more of my mistakes. So right now I'm in a unknown zone, because I'm learning, I'm doing, but I need to change the way I'm thinking. I need to drop the old school that I had. So yeah, it's difficult and it's scary, but at the same time, it's exciting because I love to learn. I really love to learn.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's, you know, it's not easy. And here you're saying like, did you even think that you're never going to give a conference? And now you do? It's like, oh wow, that's inspiring, you know, because we are in the same way. I don't know where I will be in a year, but let me tell you, I have in this in my new job is almost 8 months, and I can tell you I'm a completely different person from when I entered this job and now. And it's being rewarded. Yeah, I have, it's tough for me, but I'm enjoying the difficulty. So yeah, I think it's rewarding. So thank you very much, Scott. Yeah, yeah. So I being here with you guys is inspiring as well. Thank you. Yes.
Well, and if you need some help learning something new, I'm happy to help you work through it and get it figured out, even if I don't know how it works. So
you know what I'm missing, for example, for me right now is like I know the language. For we use TypeScript, is like similar to Java.
Right.
I know how the language works, the syntax, the basic stuff, but when it comes to develop a software from scratch and to implement that, it's like, oh my God, it's too huge for me.
Yeah.
I need to do more like implementations of a solution of something bigger. So I have the last couple of weeks I have going deep into software patterns, because we use the singleton pattern and the builder pattern, and I didn't know about it, so I was searching, and now I understand a little of the code of the work. But also dependency injection, and yeah, and you all go, yeah, and I was like, what? I just hear my coworkers speaking like, I know you do it, the dependency injection on the component, and I was like, what? And are they speaking Chinese? Because sorry, I just hear them talking. I was like, why he did that? Why? I just like, I just stare blank, and I take notes. I need to study this, but it's taking me too long. But I know that I will get somewhere. But yeah, Scott, if you have some kind of I could I would need a technical class or something about patterns, about how to higher concepts of programming. But I guess that also I need to do more programming in my free time, more applications, more. I need to do that. But yeah, I absolutely need your help in guidance, because it's building software in every language is like the same, you know?
Yeah, the principles doesn't matter what language it is.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I was wanting to go into more depth about the design pattern stuff, and you've inspired me to do that. So
yeah, and also the page that you share with us, I don't know if Jenny has knowledge of that, because where all the patterns came with diagrams.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. Yeah, it has helped me a lot, because I am very visual, and I need to see how things work in a workflow, something, to understand concepts. Right. So that page that you share with us, it has helped me also a lot.
That sounds great. Yeah, I'm really excited to sort of do the work on the design patterns, because that's something that I've never really had much experience with. So I'm looking forward to hearing your insights, Scott.
Okay, very good.
It's quite funny for me, like coming in at the end and like hearing how you guys have really like had a great time on the program, and it's just making me more excited to sort of get started properly. Oh, nice. I'll check that out.
Yep. Yeah, I was, as you were talking, I was thinking how my career followed a similar pattern. I didn't, the only mentor I had was when I was fresh out of college, and he was very cynical, and he basically taught me never trust management. They're just out to get you. They're going to screw you over, and whatever you can do, just get by doing whatever you can so you can get home and forget about it. And it's like, okay, I didn't realize it. I'd gotten into a career where management's out to get you all the time. And then, I found out that that's a really, really bad way to approach life, and his life basically fell apart, and I've lost touch with him. But, it took that really set my career back a long time. And I've never had a mentor. I've always been, the senior guy on the team. And I've been scrambling to figure this stuff out myself. So I send myself to conferences, and I take, training courses and that sort of thing. I did teach myself how to do TDD, but it took years. Honestly, it took years of practice and trying this. That doesn't seem to work. Let's try this and all that. Oh, let me watch this video. Here's how they're doing it. Let me try that. That's a really slow way to go. I don't want you to have to waste your time doing that. This is an important skill, and let's get this figured out. So yeah, that's why I put this program together. So I don't want you to have to spend the decades it took me to learn all this stuff, and you can start moving ahead much more quickly.
That's great. That's great to hear, because Patty, I know, I think I know how you feel, because I've been experiencing almost the same thing. Because as I moved, I'm to move it my career, because I was a designer. I worked many years solo as a designer, so I had my time to do my stuff. And then I moved to programming. And the other thing, that I moved to programming just in the beginning of pandemic. So I never worked side by side to someone to see how they tackle their stuff, how you manage your tasks. So my progression was pretty quick, because I had my experience of not working with programming. So I knew how to talk to some senior. I know how to ask the clients about what they needed. And I had the maturity to understand when someone asks something that you don't like to do or don't want to do, but you have to do. So this was not a problem. It was progressing very quickly. But in the beginning, if you are a junior, or if you are an intern, as I was in the beginning, you have small tasks that someone chewed and cut it in small pieces. So you had to do only a few stuff. Put this in that class, and poof, it's done. Then you are growing. Someone asks you, oh, do this. So you have to plan, as you said, a server. I don't know how to do a pattern, but in my case was, okay, now where do I begin? I have many classes to change. And this was my biggest challenge this semester, especially because last semester we were beginning at the company, so nobody in the team knew anything, even our leader. Only the project manager knew lots about business rules, and no one else knew nothing about where the service is, which application do nothing. So we were like, okay, learning. But this semester we almost know what we need to work. So when they asked me the last task, okay, do this. I had like a 15 Jira tickets to tackle and organize. That was a mess, because I was always, whoa, that's what you done, it was awesome, but why didn't you do this in time? Why did you do this before? Was always like, you were great, but this was very very bad. So I was like always in the middle. So my biggest challenge is, like I said, learning to work here, like learning how to solve this problem, learning how to ask, learning when to ask for help, or when to go ahead and try to solve something. That's pretty. And another thing was that Scott was talking about personal development. Here in Bruno, unfortunately, I accepted to teach some classes that conflicted with the time that Bruno does the mentorship. So I lost a few months of mentorship, but every time that I can, I go enjoy Bruno, and here always every Saturday. But the personal development fica assim, well, I'm using this mentorship wrong because we are talking about technical stuff, but I'm always thinking, wow, that's a great personal insight. I'm trying to do this to do to do better. So I was like developing myself, but thinking, should I be learning like technical stuff for programming? But I'm learning about how to lead with people and how to talk. So this is great. This is great. This whole program is very interesting because you are always working technical stuff, but learning how to manage your work, your feelings. Nobody cares about you. So I'm here like learning how to handle the stuff. Bruno was always very emphatic and say, you are experienced. You have 10, 13 years of experience. So deal with that. You are not junior. You didn't begin like 4 years ago. No, you began 10 years ago, but you were not programming. So you only changed the tools you are using to do your work. And this was very, very interesting to me, but I'm facing the same problem now. How to work, how to ask questions. I'm in the middle of this process. Last class we were talking about the where you are going. So I'm trying to plan this ahead because I reached the point that I had the plan. So now from now ahead, I have to replan because I don't know where I'm going, what to do. But it's been very interesting. I'm facing the same problems.
Yeah, I tell you, being unafraid to ask questions is a superpower, because so many people are terrified to look dumb. And so I always am the first one to ask questions because I'm supposed to know everything. And what does that acronym mean? I know you've told us what it was 12 times, but I make it a point not to remember what they mean so that I can ask every single time so that you can learn that, not everybody knows all these acronyms. How about you tell us what you're saying instead of throwing acronyms out and try to sound smart? And so, yeah, if there's anything confusing, I'm the first one to ask questions. So, yeah. And that's also a great mark of leadership, because the people who are afraid to are going to look to you to be the one who's going to have the courage to step up when things don't seem right. You'll be the one to ask questions. We had a meeting this week where we had an architectural discussion where the people were saying, so you need to start dividing this up into microservices, and we're just trying to figure out what the justification is, what are your requirements that you need to divide it up into microservices. And everyone's kind of fudging around and trying to come up, because we have 30 to 40 users, okay? And that number is not slated to grow much, if at all. Probably get smaller. And it has a number of different parts to it, but I mean, it does not need to scale. So microservices is really not our solution. And so after everyone fudged around and tried to explain, all this sort of thing, and I said, okay, guys, bottom line, when we were assigned this project, management said we need to use microservices. So this is our business requirement. The boss wants it. That's good enough for me. I mean, he wants to have a microservice feather in his cap. Fine, I'll divide it up into microservices if that's what he wants. It may not be the best solution, but heck, I'll get to learn how to implement a microservice. That's fine by me. I'm not going to be the one to go against the boss and fight. This is what makes him happy. My job is to make my boss successful. Because if I do that, then there's more of a chance that he will make me successful. I can tell him when he's doing something the wrong way, but in this, he's not interested in listening. This is what he wants. So, do we have anything else to discuss? No, I guess not. All right, thanks. The meeting is over. Let's go about our day.
Oh, sorry, John. Talk.
Oh, that's all right. I was just going to say, like, what was his reasoning for changing to microservices if you're not planning to scale?
He didn't give us a reason. He said it needs to be microservices because that's the new sexy, and he wants the new
Yeah.
sexy. He wants a feather in his cap that my projects are using microservices. Okay.
Is he a technical guy or more just managerial? Or...
Oh yeah, he used to be one of the developers for another project that we worked alongside. So, and his other project, which has about the same number of users, but it has about 60 developers because it's his project. My project has 5, and
It seems quite unnecessary to me, but
Oh,
each their
absolutely.
own, I suppose.
no
Create a
question.
logging microservice. Oh, here is a microservice. The logging microservice and keep it all in no monolithic. So you have a microservice implemented. Play by the book. Put the rule book.
Yes.
Read the rules. Okay, you have a microservice. That's the definition.
Yeah. I've just learned over the years that, it's some things it's worth debating him. Some things he's just made up his mind. And this, he just made up his mind. It has to be microservice. And, everybody he talked to said, okay, we're looking forward to this being microservices. All righty then. We had a meeting with management one time. He said, so this web thingy, we're going to be using this, not what is it? No, we're going to be doing cloudy things with this, right? So, you bet we're going to do cloudy things. We are, it, and it'll be microservices too. So,
For example, in my work, we are working in a web application that is not going to be as big. It's for internal auditing of finances, but we're using microservices because we're using event-driven development. Because we need every time I change in the application fires, an event is fire, and it changes a lot. It's like keep tracking of things. Yeah, and we use microservices, and I was in charge to create a microservice. I couldn't do it. My boss stepped in and he finalized it. But that's one of the challenges. I couldn't create a microservice from the scratch. I just couldn't. But it's interesting how things are working, and we have like 5 microservices, and it's really interesting how each microservice manage his own. I don't know how to say domain, like one is the users, one is the calendar, one is and when you see the web applications, it's like a puzzle, like putting on together these all components, and it's really amazing. I think like my boss is out of he knows a lot, but for me it's interesting how to do that, how to working with that. And there are not many books about event-driven development, and I think there is a opportunity to write articles and to develop stuff. It's really, really interesting how things works, and yeah, that's all I want to say.
I've been facing some challenges with my technical leader or my senior, because he's very, very tech guy. So I'm from another area, so I know about the client. So he wants a feature, and the company, the whole company, our project is very go horse. Like they didn't have a team dedicated, so everyone was putting code there, and okay, don't bother me, and that's it. But we were facing a deadline. That was the Black Friday. The Mercado Libre is a marketplace, so we had the deadline. So I was, okay, let's do it. Okay, do the way we can, because it was an important feature. The commercials, the guys who was creating the promotions, they are not getting to delete some entities there. But they were, no, okay, the code, but guys, the company. So we were in the end like, okay, we met the deadline, but we could have done it faster. And I was like, okay, I have to learn how to deal with this, because they were like trying to make the code looks better. But I was like, don't do what looks better now. Implement the feature, let the commercials do the work. Now, then we with calm, with some time, we can refactor. But this is like a challenge now.
Was it Black Friday yesterday, or is that next week?
That's next
That's
week.
next week. Okay.
Next week. Yes.
Next week. We were like a flood of commercials, creating offers and campaigns to do marketing. And we were like, oh my God, trying to deal with it. Like I was they have a schedule of, how do you call when you are like the whole day watching a service? You have to like a medical service when you have 24 hours of work, you like
Monitoring service or
yes, I was monitoring it because if
Or a
anything's
bot?
happened, I have to go in and try to solve it.
Right.
Like I don't know the term when you are watching the thing the whole day. We have a schedule and every day someone is doing this.
okay, so you're
Last
being on
Friday-
call?
Yes, on call, exactly. I have OpsGenie here on my cell phone, and it was
Yeah.
beeping like every 2 hours
Yeah.
someone was doing something wrong, and the application is a mess. We have like alarms for JavaScript errors in the front end, and you enter the application, you go to Kibana, Grafana, there's nothing. No, I mean, in Kibana, the logs don't show nothing. Everything's fine. Log for everything's happening. And you go to Kibana, you have like lots of 500 errors. I mean,
Oh, no.
what are those errors? I think the front end, like the guys in front end, they're doing front end. So they're forgetting to log important stuff. So I have to try to learn where in the back end something happened. But this is a mess for back end. This is the first Black Friday we are doing this stuff really, really hard. So it's a mess.
Yeah.
So Diogo, Mercado Libre is like it's bigger than Amazon, right? In South America, I believe. Yeah.
Yes. In
Yeah.
Brazil, I think definitely is bigger than Amazon. And they almost lost everything because when Amazon arrived, they didn't have the infrastructure for delivering. The shipping process was a mess. They depended on postal service from Brazil. That was awful. But then I don't know what happened 5 years ago. They started to developing a network of delivering services and warehouses. And now they are much, much bigger than Amazon, reaching every point of Brazil. That's big. So they have airplanes here in Brazil and Mexico to deliver stuff in 24 hours. And they managed to overcome the menace of Amazon.
Yeah, here in Mexico, Amazon was big first, but then Mercado Libre has improved a lot. So now I think they are very similar. They are
Mercado Libre
really
is
good.
more close to the local culture. So in Mexico, they understand what the Mexicans want. In Brazil, they have a huge taxes mess and they try to tackle it. So Amazon is like a step behind always.
Amazon is like generic, like if you want something, some monitor or something, a gadget, something. But Mercado Libre is more for like candles, like clothes, like more stuff near from your own country.
Yes. We always manage like promotions from holidays from each location. So in Mexico, have a Buen Fin, like a event, and have Dia de los Muertos. They had a promotion for stuff like the decorations and things for parties. That was awesome.
Yeah,
and that's the stuff. They're more close to the local culture.
Yeah, this weekend is our Black Friday.
Yes,
Black Friday. Yeah, Buen Fin. Yeah, it's called Buen Fin. Yeah, awesome.
The technical challenges are the easiest part. I think learning how to do your stuff and learn how to handle problems, dealing with people is like the main problem when you growing in. When you are junior, it's easy because you only have the technical challenge. Someone do all the stuff, they give you the bite-sized thing, do this. And you have to work with you.
That's me at the moment.
Yes. Then you start dealing with someone wanting something in a deadline that's not possible, someone wanting to do like a microservices or adding like the last technology and refactoring everything to add a pattern, and you go, like, I only have to handle this functionality. I don't need to refactor everything. So dealing with this is the main challenge.
I'm looking forward to having to deal with that.
We'll be quick. Don't be afraid. We'll be very quick. Sooner or later, you will be challenged with this stuff. It's not so good, but you know that you are growing when this stuff becomes more common, when you see more likely.
For
Yeah. By the way, Scott, if you have some really good books about debugging, it would be, I really appreciate it, because I also need to learn how to debug applications, overall web applications. Yeah.
As far as what specific, developing web applications in general, or
For example, how if I have a web application and it's not working, how to debug it. I have learned some stuff.
debugging. I'm
Debug,
sorry, I
yes.
misunderstood.
Sorry,
Yeah.
my English is late.
I'm trying to study some New Relic and all this stuff that even Ronnie from Jigma talks about, observability and monitoring, because Mecalive has a SaaS, like a platform from its own, that's very, very instrumented. So they measure everything. But I don't know how to read all the stuff. You have Grafana, Kibana, Datadog, New Relic. But most of the time I'm trying to look for logs and see if the log is printing some error or some stuff. And then I'm going to New Relic that tracks these errors and time. And yesterday I was doing a Udemy course that was talking about this, the how do they call golden signals, Google golden signals, to this observability and monitoring, because you have to do try to track the, I know this, the H when the application is being hit, errors H, because if you have too many errors, for percentage of errors in the request, and the duration of these problems. So I'm trying to learn by this way. I have the same challenge because we have the application, and as I said, I go to the log and see nothing and go, okay, I have a problem, I don't know where is this. It's a lot of microservices. I'm trying to learn these tools.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is a book I have for Java debugging. It's called Troubleshooting Java. It came out a couple of years ago. And I'm preparing a Laurentius Spilka. And I don't know, I may be pronouncing his name right or not, but that's strictly for Java. I have at least heard of Troubleshooting Web Applications book. I'll dig that up and I'll have that for you.
Thank you very much.
But yeah, because that makes sense that I would probably need to also. I'm preparing a presentation on some of the insights in the book, and I'm thinking that, yeah, probably people would be interested in troubleshooting JavaScript as well, because that's where a lot of web work is done. And so, yeah, thank you for the suggestion. I'll dig it up.
Yes, thank you.
So is this you guys' last session with, here, or is there more? Or?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, this is basically like, I'll still go to Bruno's TCDB program, just because it's different every time through, and I get new insights every time through, and so and I get reminded of things that I forgot, and so I kind of I enhance this every time through. I learn new things that people are interested in, that, like Patty suggested I go more in depth into the design patterns. Like, that's a good idea, I need to do that. And so I will do that this next time through. So yeah, I'm always trying to make it better, more relevant, more helpful. But yeah, you can always look at all the old sessions and all the new sessions, and you're welcome to stick around as long as you want, as long as it's of value to you. You got nothing to do on a Saturday morning, we're here.
No, I will definitely be here. And if I don't know, Scott, but for example, I would like to prepare some technical subject and presenting here with you. It will
Okay.
help me a lot because when you explain something, you learn. It's like
Absolutely. Absolutely.
when you try to explain something, it's like, oh my god, yeah, it's like it's for me it's better. I internalize more the concept. So if you have some subject that or we have, I don't know if you want, but if we, for example, I would like to talk about, for example, some issues about TypeScript, you know, it's like it's a really cool thing, and I have learned a lot of TypeScript, so I could do something in TypeScript, for example, or something about even driven development, because I'm really learning how to all the concepts that I have learned in my job. I would like to share it here with you guys, because it also came from domain driven development, and it's really interesting subject. So I would like to share with you what I have learned on that subject.
Okay. Very cool.
But
Yeah.
think about it, Scott, and let us know if that's okay with you.
Sure. Yeah. Now I will say, are you participating in Bruno's program?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they have a group that meets on Saturday mornings that basically is specifically for that purpose. You can practice a presentation, and they'll give you some insights. So I don't want to discourage you from trying it here. I'm just saying that you have yet another resource to develop in that area available to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Excellent. All righty then.
Okay,
Well,
I'll have to leave, guys.
Yeah, me too.
Again, it was awesome to be here and talk to everyone.
Yeah, good to see you again.
I appreciate your insights and your sharing and your involvement, and I look forward to seeing y'all next week.
Thank you.
See you next week. Thank you, Scott.
All right.
Have a good week.
Nice
Thank
to
you.
meet you.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
week.
Bye.
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 See you.